Well, there's always moves to be made for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it looks like more rumors are going to be swirling around the Philadelphia Eagles that have $26.5 million in cap space, which is great, and a specific player that Fangio could really take advantage of trading for as of right now. That would make a lot of sense. We're going to be talking about Hassan Reddick, and yes, we're going to talk about it because there's some more interesting things coming out, and the Eagles might have dodged one of the biggest bullets we had this offseason. So, let's get into it.
We better try. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So I'm going to go over some news for the Philadelphia Eagles as usual. Since we are waiting in the midst of training camp another few weeks, or pretty much we have at least a month until we head into training camp. There are some things to talk about regarding trade rumors. Okay, now it looks like the Eagles, I think, in my own opinion, could make another 2 moves this offseason, whether they trade a player or whether they acquire 2 players on the cheap. Okay, $26.5 million the Eagles have right now, and that's fantastic. That's a good amount of cap just to make a couple moves as you really want, unless they trade for a bona fide star that's young, that's relatively young, or something like that, which I don't think they're really going to do right now because they have to get through training camp. They might not make a move until right when preseason does start. But Mathew Judon, there has been some, third-party rumors. Take it with a grain of salt. Nothing crazy, but obviously as a linebacker with Mathew Judon, what he's done in his career since 2016, accumulating 66 and a half sacks and having over 368 tackles is absolutely insane. This is a guy that Fangio would have a lot of fun with, moving him around from linebacker to edge rusher. I think, he can get after the quarterback. He's great in coverage. He has a knack for getting his hands on the football. I think he'd be a perfect fit. 31 years old, though. So, trading him, the Patriots trading him, and he is waiting, apparently, for another deal to happen. That's what it says in some of the information, that he kind of wants his money up a little bit, which he's really not getting paid that much. Even looking at even looking on over the cap on some of the details on his contract, I mean, he's only getting paid $6.5 million this year. I mean, it's really not that much for what work he's putting in, but he's a big cap number for the Patriots as well, as $14.6 million. His 25 is a voided year, so it's an option out type year if they just want to just let him go. So realistically, the Eagles could trade for him. What would it cost? They don't know what it would cost for a 31-year-old that's going to have probably a short-term 1 to 2 year deal, which the Eagles are probably looking for a player like that, and could really bolster up this defense. Now, I don't think they make this move now. I think this is a move that they do make by preseason. Like I said, we didn't trade for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson until right when preseason started. So once you get through a little bit of training camp, see what you have. God forbid, if Nakobe Dean has another injury, or he's just not playing up to standard, or Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is not good enough, because you have 2 linebackers right now probably playing the best out of OTAs and minicamp with Devin White and Zach Bond as being your 2 guys that are on 1-year deals. And one of those 2 guys isn't on a multi-year contract with the Eagles. And we know how, the Eagles are not a big fan of paying linebackers big money. The Eagles passed one of their little tests that they normally don't do, and that is paying a running back $12 million a year, which the Eagles never do that, and they did that with Saquon Barkley. So adding Mathew Judon would be fantastic. I think he is 32, actually. I think I got his age wrong. He is 32, so he's up there in age, but I think we're in this system. I think he'd be a perfect fit here for the Philadelphia Eagles, and just see what happens. Like I said, this might not be promising. This could all be BS at the end of the day, but adding another linebacker / edge guy, whether you want to play him more as an edge or more of a balance of both, because I still think the Eagles need a lot more. They need another edge guy in the defensive line, and adding another linebacker is just would be fantastic. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Or if you want to go out there and say, hey, let's go get Yannick Ngakoue. He's still a free agent right now. Okay, Yannick Ngakoue jumps from team to team to team, and he always does pretty well. If he averages you 5 to 8 sacks, that's great. You know what I mean? It's just another guy you can have on the edge and do some great things. And we've always talked about Yannick Ngakoue every year and adding him to this roster. And he's always been pretty much everywhere he goes, he seems like a likable guy and seems like he's, very productive. So could be, there's a couple options here for the Philadelphia Eagles, but Mathew Judon, I think, would be one for the perfect fit in Philadelphia, especially it's a guy that's going to be like, you know what, the Patriots aren't ready for a Super Bowl yet, but you know what, like I think the Eagles are ready, and let me go there for a couple years and see what happens. Like I said, we'll get into the Hassan Reddick news in a second because that's where we're going to next, because after losing Hassan Reddick, you're putting a lot of faith in the Bryce Huff coming off of 110 sack season, one double-digit sack season off of 43% of the snaps and a heavy rotation. So we don't know what Bryce Huff is going to look like in a full rotation. Sorry, with more playing time and hoping. Great. I think Bryce Huff is a fantastic signing, and you're putting a lot into Nolan Smith right now. And Nolan Smith, I know it's OTAs, I know it's minicamp, but I really haven't heard much of anything towards Nolan Smith and how much better he's gotten. Yes, the pads aren't on, full pads are not on yet, but other than Nolan Smith having his press conference and saying the things I like to hear him be saying, I haven't heard nothing from camp. So hopefully when the pads come on, we'll be seeing a lot more. The truth will be out. So I think I think there's going to be two moves for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think they're done. I think they're always going to upgrade before the season starts, see what they have in training camp, and I think Mathew Judon would be great. I don't know what it's going to cost you. The Eagles have 9 picks next year in the 25 draft. And I don't know, maybe a mid-rounder and a pick for next year for 26 or something like that. I don't know what it's going to cost for a 32-year-old player, but I wouldn't say it's going to be a whole lot. Now, second, connected to this, because I think it's really important. I know people are going to say, Joe, you need to let it go, but I think the Eagles have dodged a bullet here. Okay, the Eagles traded Hassan Reddick to the New York Jets, for a 26 third-round conditional, which could turn to a second if he plays over 60-something% of the snaps and if he gets 10-plus sacks this year with the Jets, Now, news is coming out, and this was from a while back. Like, this is what I don't get about the situation. The Eagles give up literally nothing for Hassan Reddick. Yeah, so what? They might get a second-round pick in a couple years. But here's what's really crazy. This happened like a week or two ago, and the Jets had OTAs. Robert Saleh, the head coach of the New York Jets, Reddick went to the facility after he was traded, didn't even talk to Saleh. He hasn't heard a word from Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick and the head coach haven't even talked yet, which is even more crazy, And then he skips OTAs, and then the other day he skips Jets Media Day, where I think Media Day is where, I don't know if it's for just press conferences or Media Day is when they take their pictures with their uniforms on and they do like the photo, the video shoots and stuff like that. He didn't even show up for that. So to me, it's like, if the Jets want to trade for him so badly, they got rid of Bryce Huff and they got another guy that is a problem now. You trade for a guy, usually when you trade for a player that wants to get paid, he's going to get paid. But we saw a video of Hassan Reddick going to the Jets facility and meeting everybody and meeting all the players and shaking hands and being cool with the other player. Like, we saw him really start to get close with the players when he visited the facility. And then all of a sudden he leaves the facility and there's still no contract signed. Doesn't show up to OTAs. Now the Jets have minicamp this week. The Jets have mandatory minicamp this week. And if he doesn't show up to that and there's no contract, damn, dude. Then what really happened here? That's the question. Like, what? Then I got to say, then there was a bigger problem. Like, if the Eagles gave up nothing for Reddick and Reddick goes there and gets no deal, then something must really bad have happened. The Eagles must have gave up we'll give you a 26 third-round conditional just because we want to get him off our hands, because I don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know if Reddick and maybe Howie had an argument, or I have no idea. We knew after last year that Reddick might have been a big holdout, may have been a holdout with the Eagles. He wasn't getting $20 million a year, whatever he thought he was going to get. And we thought the Jets were going to give it to him. It was just a weird thing how Reddick goes to the Jets. The Jets give away Bryce Huff to the Eagles. The Eagles pay Bryce Huff a few $1 million less than what Reddick would have gotten. I think Reddick was highly respected within the organization, unless he wasn't, unless there were some things that went on behind the scenes. Maybe it was complications between Hassan Reddick's agent to the Eagles front office and Howie Roseman on trying to work something out. I have no idea, but so on top of Reddick not having contact with the head coach, which is really bad, not showing up to OTAs, not showing up to, hopefully, I mean, looks like he's not even going to show up to minicamp at this point. And then the Eagles give the Jets a 26 third-round conditional for nothing. It's starting to show that the Eagles want to get rid of him badly or something. I don't know. And they went out immediately and got Bryce Huff. Oh, I forgot which one happened first. I forgot the Reddick trade happened first, the Bryce Huff trade happened second. I forgot what happened first. But, man, it's crazy. It's just crazy, dude. No contract yet. You know what I mean? Like, if the Eagles wanted Bryce Huff, they got Bryce Huff to Philadelphia, and they gave him a big deal. You know, Reddick is playing I don't know what he's doing. I'm really just like, man, like, he must be a bad egg, bad attitude. You know, you start to wonder why he's jumping from team to team to team. Not every player that jumps from team to team to team is a bad person. Yannick Ngakoue, we talked about earlier, he's always been productive, and I don't think that really teams have had issues with him. But Reddick, man, there must be something like going on with his negotiations, or I don't know why you trade for a player that's acting like this. I don't get it. But the Eagles gave him away for nothing, which probably shows in connection to everything else what it really means. So that's the news on Hassan Reddick. And, you know, I know people are going to tell me need to get over it, but, you know, this may have been may have dodged a bullet here. He probably could have sat out the whole entire year. We don't know. Now, lastly on the list right now, the news has been coming out that the Kelly Green uniforms are coming back in 2024. Obviously, they're coming back. They're going to be back every single year. You know, and I know people are like, well, why don't they ever announce what games they're doing Kelly Green early? Well, the reason they don't do that is because this is a marketing standpoint. Like, what they do is a week before our next game, they'll announce they're wearing Kelly Greens, which will make you go out and purchase Kelly Green jerseys. Okay. It's marketing. It's just marketing, and that's how they do it. They're not going to announce stuff early. So if there's people without Kelly Green jerseys on, and within a week they announce the next game they're going to be wearing Kelly Greens, they're just going to tell people a week prior, so people, you know, it's a money making standpoint. That's what they do with that type of stuff. So we don't know what games yet. We don't know what's going on, but this year they added a third helmet, which means it's going to be a third uniform. It's probably going to tell me they're going to be wearing black helmets. I don't like the black helmets with the black uniforms. I really wasn't a big fan of them. The black uniforms are fine. The black helmets, I mean, I don't know. I'd rather have the matte finish type helmets, kind of like what the Atlanta Falcons have with their black helmets. That would probably look a little bit better, but not really a fan at all. It makes me think, like, after seeing like Isaiah Rodgers with the white helmet, seeing the Vikings with their new helmets now. They have this white on white, looks so good. I mean, it looks amazing. Imagine if they did that, like Isaiah Rodgers had that helmet last year when he was suspended, the Eagles white on white helmet with the white wings, white helmet, maybe a blackish, maybe a green outline to it, something like that. But I would love the Eagles to have an all white, clean look as a third uniform than having the black uniforms in general. So when I saw these, I was like, man, if the Eagles could do this, that would be fantastic. I wouldn't complain at all. I think we'd have a really good time. The away Kelly Greens or something like that with those white helmets would look absolutely insane, would be awesome. So just let me know what you guys think about that. And that's pretty much about it. We talked about Mathew Judon trade, Yannick Ngakoue, Hassan Reddick, and all the crap that's going on with him right now. If you guys haven't checked out the Philly Shakedown podcast merch, definitely go check it out. We have sizes up to 6XL now. We're going to have sleeveless t-shirts soon. We have youth t-shirts. We have women's t-shirts now added to the site, and we have a lot more designs coming to you guys in 2024. A big release of merch coming out at one shot before the season starts. Link in the description for all the merch down there. The designs don't fade. You could wash your shirt 7 times. I have 6 of these shirts. I have 7 times I've washed it, and they feel brand new. They barely shrink at all. They're fantastic. So best quality for the best people. We all know that. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about everything talked about in this video. Mathew Judon trade, Hassan Reddick, and how everything's starting. Maybe the puzzle pieces are really starting to connect a little bit more. And obviously the jerseys. Would you like to see white on whites this season? You let me know. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up? Follow us. Peace out, guys.